You have previously learned about finding the best fit lines algebraically, especially in Algebra 1, 2, maybe some of you in 7th and 8th grade. So today we're going to talk about two different regression models. And so when you see these data points in this first example here, when you see these data points, I could take a ruler, and when we find the best fit line, what it is not connect the dots. It's not take the first dot and the last dot and connect them. It's going to be like an average of these dots, kind of splitting through them. Now, there may be some outliers that go above or below. So I can see that this would be a linear regression, and from left to right is decreasing. When I look at the next example and I try to find the average of them, I could see that my best fit line here, again, would be a line that is linear, which means it's straight, and it would increase from left to right. When I look at the next two examples, it looks a little bit different. These look like it would be an example of a quadratic regression, and that it represents a parabola that is opening downwards. And we only see part of the parabola here, but again, we're looking at the right side of the parabola that opens upward. All right, so now we're going to use our calculator to actually create those best fit lines. There's an app on our calculator, just like we have apps on our cell phone. So please go to the directions for 18 and 19 and circle where it says linear model. So it already tells us that if we plotted these points, that it would create a linear model. So the best fit line would be linear. So to do this, you can follow along on the board as you see the instructions. We're going to start by going to stat. Now where's stat? It's going to be to the left of the white arrows. You're going to hit stat one time, and you're going to go down to edit. In the L1s, you are always going to input in the X's. In the L2s, you will always input in the Y's. Now, every class before yours, I have tried to rush through it, and I've made mistakes. I'm going to slow down. Every time after you enter a value in, you're going to press enter. So I'm going to enter in 1 through 8, and then I'm going to go back, and I'm going to make sure that I've correctly entered in those values before using the arrow to go to L2. Now I'm going to put in the output value starting at 58. And going back to check that I've correctly plugged them in. Looks good. What's my next step going to be? As you can see here up on the board, I'm now going to go back and I want to find. So you will see this list on your paper if you're confused or if I'm moving ahead. Now I'm going to hit stat, and in stat I want to calculate. There's an actual app. So I want you to use the arrow and go to calculate, and we know that this is going to represent a linear model. We're going to go down to the fourth option, and in the fourth option we're going to hit enter in the bottom right hand corner multiple times. So I'm on right now. If you're looking at the board, I'm right here. I'm going to hit enter, 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 enter all the way through until I have an answer. Okay, let's practice now rounding this to the nearest hundredth. So this would be y equals negative 7.65x plus 68.57. Plus 68.57. Okay, we are going to start with our second example. Again, that is going to be a linear model. How do we get started? We need to clear the calculator. Second plus 712. Again, second plus 712. The exact same operations. Please hit stat. Edit is highlighted. I press enter. Now in L1, I'm going to input the X's. In L2, I'm going to input in the Y's. Going back after you've put in the input values and output values, always to make sure you have correctly entered the values. Mine looks good, and I'm just going to follow right along here. If your calculator dies, feel free to grab another one. What's my next move? I'm going to go up to stats. I'm going to go to calculate. We are working with a linear model, so I'm going to go down to number 4 and press enter all the way through. This time we're going to practice rounding to the nearest thousandths. So we have y equals 0. Now here's tricky. 479. Okay, so behind the 9 is a value that's greater than 5 or 5 or greater. That means 79 will bump up to 80. So 0.480x plus 21.786. Next up, our next two examples are going to be very similar, but instead of working with a linear model, we are now working with a quadratic model. Please circle quadratic model. Please circle quadratic model. We're going to start by doing second plus 712. Second plus 712. Okay, we're going to follow the exact same set of directions, but when we get to linear regression, we're not doing a linear regression, we're doing a quadratic regression. So here we go. Go to Stat and Edit. I'm entering in the input values, which are the x values. Always going back to make sure you've correctly entered them in. Checking. Looks great. Then I'm going to go to Stat, Calculate. We're told this is a quadratic model, so I'm going to go down to number 5, pressing Enter all the way through. This time we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. Just like example 1, we round to the hundredth, and example 2, we round to the thousandths. We're going to follow that same pattern. So here we go. We're going to round to the nearest hundredth. Y equals negative 0.53x squared plus 4.16x minus 0.03. Now in example number 4, while those in front of me are also working. So I'm going to calculate, let's start again, Stat, Edit, and taking time to put in these input values. Remember, it's really easy as you rush through this to make simple mistakes. I've done that throughout today. So I'm taking time to check after each input value and output value. All of this looks good. So I'm going to go Stat, Calculate. How do I know where to go to? I'm told this is going to resemble a quadratic model. Pressing Enter all the way through. And here we go. We have Y equals, I'm going to round to the nearest thousand, 0.64x squared plus, that's what should be a negative, subtract 0.221x plus 2.429.